So now let's talk about the grants themselves. They come in two categories or flavors that are summarized at a high level here, but let's dive right into the specifics. Next slide, please. So the first type of grant is the CalHHS onboarding grant, which CDII sometimes refers to as the quote unquote assisted pathway. This is because your organization, if you choose to apply for this option, is specifically committing to use any funds you are awarded to help cover the cost of connecting to a qualified HIO. Again, like Jason said, one of these intermediaries that the state will officially designate as having proven themselves to be able to help support signatories to meet their data sharing requirements, and which we at MX will very much be positioning ourselves to earn that designation. Not only will the CalHHS assist in the sense of providing the tools and the infrastructure for you to share data to comply, but the CalHHS for the grant will also be responsible for managing the deliverables and the progress reports and submitting them to the state as required to receive the funding. And in many ways, really taking a lot of the administrative paperwork out of the grantee's hands. Jason will pick up the presentation at the end to talk a little bit about the types of activities and costs that would apply to choosing to onboard with MX as your CalHHS grant partner. But first, let's address something upfront in terms of an awkward timing issue. If you'll recall Jason explaining, the CalHHS probably won't be selected and announced until late June or early July. But rounds 1 and 2 of the funding open in mid-May and mid-June. So if that's the case, how will an organization know which CalHHS to pick if they're interested in applying for this type of grant? The answer is that you won't know, and you are either going to leave the CalHHS selection field blank in the application, or, and this is what we would strongly encourage, you can put down Manifest MedEx as your intended CalHHS partner so we can work with you right away to begin helping you prepare the materials for your application, including the activities and the costs to include in the request for funding, and how we will document that you're successfully sharing data with us. And the good news is that for those of you who have already signed a participation agreement with MX, but haven't actually begun the onboarding process, as long as that contract was signed no earlier than January 1st of this year, you are still fully eligible to apply for the CalHHS onboarding funding with MX as your intended partner.